If you're taking your dog to the vet, these are 3 things you need to bring with you to save your time and your effort and a lot of stress while you are working with your vet. These are all digital-based things, plus a bonus at the end that is not digital, but most people forget about when they're going to their vet. The first thing is that you want to make sure on your phone you have documented, meaning taking pictures of everything that has a label that you are using on your dog. This is the food that they're eating, the supplements that they're eating. This is any medications you're using on them. If you are going to be using any products to clean them with, have the labels on your phone in an album. We've talked about this in another episode. I'll link it down below, but you need that to be able to answer questions for your vet. The next thing that you want is a list of questions that you are going to be asking your vet. So if you're worried about a rash, or if you have questions about the pests in your yard, or if you have questions about where to take your dog to learn agility, or free places to swim in your local area, or if you want to talk about what is coming up in your dog's health, make sure you have that list. Bullet point it, have any subpoints that you need there so that while you're there, you have the ability to just power through that list. I have had so many vet visits where they are just terrible at managing their time at my vet clinic that I am leaving and going to another one for. And I will have sat through many questions, and then they'll only spend a couple of minutes just checking my dog's vitals, and then they're out the door without answering my questions. So if you have to then take your time to figure out what you wanted to ask, or you potentially forget what you needed to ask and remember when you get home, that could be a problem, and that prolongs the appointment that you have. So having that list ready to go is going to save you time and effort. And I found a lot of times that the vet assistants will ask you, what questions do you have? And write it into their notes so that they can prep the vet before they come in to speak to you, which does duplicate their time levels that they're spending with you and could be done more efficiently. We've talked about that in other videos as well. But having that list just makes it a lot easier for you to stay streamlined and to get your answers. And then if you need to write things down, you already have your questions on your notes that you can just pop in those answers for, so you are streamlined when you go home with the answers that you received. Additionally, you are going to need to make sure that you have any photos of documented things going on with your dog. So if your dog has a rash, take the videos, take the photos, and have the progression on your phone. If your dog is not relieving themselves properly and you are documenting what's going on in that, have that on your phone. If your dog is healing from their surgery, have that documentation on your phone so that you can see the progression. If something is going on with your dog, you need to have that progression so that your vet can see what has been going on and how it's been changing and how rapidly it has been changing. So if you know something's coming up where you're probably going to have to take your dog to the vet to check on things, start the documentation process. And that way you know if that rash has grown and how quickly it has, whether or not you're going to the vet. But if you have those progression photos, that's going to be a huge help to helping to diagnose your dog or to give the proper medications or to ask the right questions to figure out what is going on. Now, that bonus that I promised is one that people typically forget at the vet's office. This is a physical thing, and it is something that comes into play when you have a smaller dog or a puppy. And that is that you need to bring your dog on a leash. Oftentimes, if we have a puppy or a small dog, we just carry them in and out of the car. We won't even necessarily clip them on a leash to get them to the car or to get them into the building. And so you arrive at the vet's waiting office and your dog needs to be on a leash. You do not have one. Make sure you have an extra leash with you. I keep extra leashes in my car. I actually keep one in my purse for emergencies. And that way, even if you have a smaller dog and you forget, you've always got one with you. And that way, your dog is following the rules, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, and the vet techs can take your dog back without having to worry about anything. I have seen so many people bring their small animals in, not have them on a leash, and then the vet tech will have to go and fetch a leash, and they're not ever happy about that, to walk your dog in the back to get their shots or to get their nails trimmed or whatever it happens to be, and then bring them back out to you. So make sure you have that leash with you. It is very important, and it will spare you a lot of embarrassment when you get into the building as well. Drop your questions on vet visits down below. We've got a full playlist of dog health things going on, and we talk a lot about vet visits and how to make sure we're managing fear when it comes to the vets, how to prepare to go to the vets, the information documentation you need when you go to the vet, all of these things to save you time, effort, embarrassment, and stress when it comes to getting your dog to the vet And we help to kind of mitigate a lot of those fears that your dogs are going through when they walk into those buildings as well. So follow in for more, drop your questions, and we will see you in tomorrow's episode as we continue to help you navigate the world of dog parenthood to help you level up for your pup to give them the best life possible. We'll see you then.